All right, welcome to week 6, which is really crazy to think. Wow, for 6 weeks, you've dedicated a practice of true mind, body, and spirit, right? So the reason why I've extended this program to go past the usual 30 days is because in 30 days, you create a habit. In order to make it a lifestyle, you really need 90, right? So this is the hard part, and this is the thick of it, right? Because now it's like, all right, well, I've done really good for this time period, and then there's a temptation to retract and give some of it up. And so all week, I want you to reflect on one thing, where you were week 1 to where you are now. And you'll see that you were in a gain, right? A constant gain. And so there's 3 people you need to worry about. That is the old self, the future self, and the current self. That old self is constantly pushing you. And that is a beautiful measurement to have, is where the old self was and where your current self is. And when you see that distance, you see that as a complete gain. It's only when you're measuring it on where you want to go to where you are now that there is a lack, right? We're in a gap. We're not there yet. So we feel like we're lacking. But when you see the measurement of where you are now to where you were, you see that you're in a constant gain. And so you see that you are constantly gaining. So I want you all week to rewire that. So every day this week, you guys are going to do a meditation, and this one's a little differently. So this one I'm going to be sending via video. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to sit up, realign our chakras, reconnect with the universe, and every morning you'll do this. It'll be the quick, usual 5-minute meditation. That way you have time to do it in the morning, but it's just an idea just to reset. And also, this meditation is going to have a little bit of energy building. So I'm going to teach you how to create energy and then feel that energy. And I want you to note one thing as at the end of the week, right? What did it feel like at first, and what does it feel like now? Because as you continue to constantly build that energy line and create that, your body starts to feel that vibration. So one of the things, and I know some of you are struggling with getting 369, I did email them just to check in on everything. Hopefully you guys get it ASAP, but it's okay, because with this program, we're naturally doing a lot of manifestation. So if anything, you have to trust divine timing. Maybe it's just not there for you to write everything. And in the meantime, continue to listen to this book. It seems like it's clicking for a lot of you, and it's a really good, right? It's a really good practice for manifestation when you're rewiring your subconscious. And this book really will make you reflect. So, when we feel like we're suffering and we think about what we read this week, right there, you just did a manifestation. So what you write in here is great, but this is also the other part of the job. And so is food and nutrition and all these other things that we're talking about. It's more than just a practice. One of the things that this book brilliantly talks about, and I will send a picture of this so that we're all on the same page, is the law of vibration. So here's the thing, is manifestation works only one way. It's not that you call in this manifestation and you sit there and you wait for it. It's like, come, come, come. No, this is your manifestation, right? Whatever you're manifesting is this. What happens is you unbecome and become at the same time, and then all of a sudden, they clap together. You have to become that vibration, right? If you want love in your life, you must become love. If you want endless abundance in your life, you must become abundance. So I'm going to send a 3-question prompt to ask yourself at the end of the day. Right? This week, your theme is about choice. So manifestation works in spiritual practice, and spiritual practice is only done really through action. So if you wrote in this every single day, and then your choices were not aligned with what you were writing, you're going to have a pullback. So this whole week, I want you to think about your yeses and your nos. Did I say no to other things so that I could say yes to certain things? Did I say yes to certain things so I could say no to other things? I want you to reflect on where you're saying yes and you're saying no. Then I want you to think about, what is my choice today I made to get me a little bit closer to my higher self? And maybe that was that you stuck to your routine in the morning of meditation, maybe your journal, whatever it was. Did I have choices that got me closer to that? And third, did I make choices that pushed me away from that higher self and maybe bring me back to my old self? So this theme is going to be patterns and action, right? And choices, overall choices, right? Your choices will really reflect how bad, like, desires are normal. We're human, so our mind is literally built on desires. I would be concerned if you didn't desire anything. We all want love. That's normal. We all want success. That feels great. So desire is normal. I can tell how bad you desire something based upon if you make right choices, right? And that's what 369 will really hit on for a lot of you guys, is this idea of the law of vibration, right? So you become this vibration, right? A lot of you are probably starting to see funny things, right? So starting to attract certain things into your life. So if you are love will kind of just jump your way. Or you'll start to see hearts everywhere, or all these things, right? You become the vibration that you have to be, that is necessary. I'm really curious how that breath work looked for all of you. So if you'd like, you can privately message me. You don't have to message me in the group. But I would love to know. I would love to know, what did that breath work bring up for you? Because it could have bring up a limiting belief. It could have bring up maybe old patterns or old self. And the goal of it is really to feel liberation, right? To feel the liberation afterwards. So maybe you release something, maybe you let something go. So I'm curious, please tell me, like, what happened in that breath work for you? Because I want to work with you guys personally, like really deeply on talking about what comes up in that breath work. Because breath is energy, right? If breath is energy, then you just created energy within yourself, right? And energy is your vibration. So I need to know, right? What did that energy work look like for you? Because then we can, align everything together to see what type of energy work you need to build. So please let me know what that looks like, right? So this week's theme is all about choices. So I'm going to send you those 3 questions, and I want you to get really conscious of where you're saying yes and where you're saying no. And the yes is really important as the no, because the no is very vibrant. So if you say no because you want to go back inside and do a meditation and align with the full moon and have this nirvanic feeling, do it. When you say no to something else, you're saying yes to something else. However, the yes is also very important, because yes is really powerful, right? If I have to ask myself all the time, would I regret not going? Would I regret not doing this? And if the answer is yeah, I would really regret it actually, I'm going to go and I'm going to say yes. But there's also the other yes, where we don't even realize we're codependently people pleasing by saying yes, even though we don't really want to do it. And so I want you to really make the theme this week choices, patterns, where your yes and no is, where your conscious action is, right? I want you to think about action all week long. That includes nutrition and food. So I'm going to send you guys a list of all the meal prep I just made, right? So I made a parsley is actually really good for digestion, by the way. I just made a parsley ground beef. I am aligning with the full moon and going into my cycle. So when I go into my cycle, I need ground beef. I've learned my body, so I know that this week I'll have to eat ground beef some certain days. Using parsley for digestion, because my metabolism seems to always slow down according to my cycle. Then I made a vegetable sweet potato stir fry. And then I have, cubes of tuna I made. So that way I could just scoop it onto my salad. And then I meal prep my salad, which has carrots, beets, tomatoes, lettuce. What else did I put on there? Seeds, cucumbers, right? I make my salad so jam-packed, peppers. I put everything in there so that way I get all the nutrients. So this way, during the week, I could pull out my salad for lunch, put it into the bowl, take my tuna, right, which is 35 grams of protein, and then put it into the salad. So now I'm getting all my nutrients. I'm getting plenty of protein in there. And honestly, I mean, I make the best salads, I know I do, but once you start to have fun with salads, you end up falling in love with them, and it's the best way to get a jam pack of nutrients in. I also made my cacao chia pudding. That way in the morning, I could break fast by using the protein cacao chia pudding, using it with fruit, or that could be a snack or a little dessert. And then I also, right, got cottage cheese because you can add fruits and eggs and things like that, right? So I just spent an hour, podcast open, fully meal prepping, right? Because I know that choice is going to set me up for success. I will be totally honest, I did not want to do all that, but I knew if I dedicated that hour, I would feel really good afterwards. And I know that for the next several days, I am already set. You know, one thing I wanted to introduce in nutrition was the art of bone broth. So bone broth, right? A cup of bone broth can have 25 grams of protein and literally barely any calories. It's also great collagen, right? So one thing I'll do is I broke fast by using bone broth, which is a high source of protein. And again, my body's gonna absorb that collagen so much more. If you want a good bone broth, please let me know. I actually know somebody near you guys that home makes it, and she does an amazing, outstanding job. She sells them by liter, so you could pour a cup in every day. It's a really good measurement to see how your body feels. So that's a little bit about choices, patterns, nutrition focuses this week. I want you to dedicate it so much. Why? Because we have a full moon, right? So part of this program is cycling with a full moon. This full moon is very sensitive, and it's going to bring up a lot of ego and a lot of pattern. That's why I want you to focus really deep in where your choices are. Are they aligned with your mission? Are they aligned with your desire? Are they getting you closer to your higher self? Don't be surprised if you are tested all week. So for this full moon, as always, we will do a full moon meditation. We will also do a letter to the full moon. And I really want you, right? The beauty of me sending this out now is that when it's on Wednesday, the 12th, you have plenty of time to really sit and make proper intentions and not just rush to it. So for the next 2 days, I really want you to see what comes up, right? So let's say you seem to have a bunch of people coming into your orb that are testing your patience. Maybe it's time that you talk to the universe about patience. Or, you know, maybe you're being presented with all these opportunities, but you're nervous. So you're stuck in a limiting belief. So maybe this is about getting rid of those limiting beliefs. Whatever it looks like for you and your journey and where you are now. And if you want to talk to me about that privately, please message me, right? Because the more you guys open up and share with me, the more I'm able to really open up big doors for you guys. So this full moon, I want you also to think about another aspect of this full moon. So we started this on new moon. That's new you. This is going back to full moon. This is closing out cycles, right? So this is old you. So really think about it. What old patterns are you still holding on to? What old patterns are not serving you? Where is the old self still presenting, right? You will know it because there will be friction in your life. So I'm always open and honest with you guys. This is my full moon focus. My full moon focus is focusing on any limiting beliefs that are holding me back, right? That I need to set more time to myself and learn the art of saying no and saying yes to certain things, right? Or within limiting beliefs, right? Is there any fears? And I have gotten to a place where instead of telling the universe I wanted to let it get rid of all these things, I pretty much just tell the universe, I don't know where it is that I'm either stuck in a limiting belief. I don't know where fears live. I don't know where my over service has, where it has kind of pulled me. Instead of focusing on these things, I sort of just tell the universe, I want to be brought to my higher self, and you know what that looks like. I really don't, because I don't have that plan written out, but you do. So whatever you need to put in front of me, I know I'm with you, I know I'm here, and I know I'm supported by you. So take me and guide me through to bring me to my higher self. And lo and behold, right, that's when you're tested, right? The universe will always test. That's why I want you guys to really focus on choice. As you're sitting here connecting with the full moon, the ending of cycles, speaking to the universe, practicing every morning, you're going to be tested, right? One of the biggest things I hear in manifestation is, well, why is everything going to chaos right now? And it's like, it's just, honestly, it's the universe testing you. It's the universe testing you sometimes to see how much you support it. One of the coolest things I ever saw was a woman was on a retreat, and she set a lot of intentions. And it was crazy because she went back home and chaos happened. Absolute chaos. And she set so much intention to the universe, it presented her with a lot, and it wanted to see if she was really ready to embrace those intentions. And she handled it with grace, and her manifestation really came in so beautifully. If you feel like that breath work really aligned, feel free to also do that again this week. Because we don't realize how much of that limiting belief that we store in our body, that old self, it is stored, those emotions are stored, those fears are stored, and it's stuck in the subconscious mind. So if you remember, I talked a lot about conscious mind, which is me and you, right? It's our experience. It's the experience of the conversations we have, the music we hear, the experience, like every single thing we experience. Then there is the subconscious mind, which is our computer program, right? And so that is what's been programmed into us. Then we have the superconscious mind, and that superconscious mind is really where the divine connects to you, and that's where the manifestation happens. So you could see that it goes universe, superconscious mind through the art of like meditation or breath work or whatever practice it is you have. Then it goes into the subconscious mind, and it says, you know, I'm going to produce this. How do you react? It sends it out to the conscious mind where we experience it. And it's our subconscious mind that's pretty much the barrier between superconscious and conscious, right? So that's why I focus so heavily on the subconscious mind. Now that we're like in the depth of the program, I really want you also to think about what were your goals and intentions in the beginning, right? So if it was to, you know, live a healthier lifestyle, are you doing that? When you see that, you really are gaining to it. Or if you feel like you're not, it's okay. That's okay, right? There's no such thing as mistake, and there's no such thing as failure, because if anything, it's just teaching you. Or maybe it was to really build up your business or gain a solid practice, whatever it is. I want you really this full moon to reflect on who you were, who you are now, the choices you're making, and the choices you want to be making. And overall, the focus this week is what old self, what old patterns am I still stuck in? Because sometimes we don't even realize we're still stuck in an old pattern. So one of the things that, you know, the idea of the law of vibration also is that it focuses on is actually gut health, right? So there's a really cool part in 369 that focuses on gut health. And it talks about, like, located inside your stomach, the gut microbiome compromising over 100 trillion microorganisms. These trillions of bacteria are little beings that live in the whole new universe with you. 90 to 95% of your body's supply of serotonin and around 50% of your dopamine is made from your gut. So this is also why I focus so heavily on your gut health. So if you feel like your gut health is still not where it should be or not where you want it to be, then make choices all week long to repair your gut health, right? The bone broth is a really great idea. If you're really serious about cleaning out your gut health, I would highly recommend you breaking your fast with bone broth in the morning. And the beauty of doing a cup of bone broth is that you can add like turmeric, black pepper, all of these great herbal spices that are really beneficial for your gut. So your focus this week is the choices I'm making, and mind, body, and spirit. And this full moon, think about what the full moon is pulling you towards. What has been in your life recently that maybe is right? Because we get prepared for the full moon and new moon, and we don't even realize it. I remember when I was in a full moon. I was requesting something in a full moon, and I think it was something like, I'm trying to think of the exact way I wrote it out and thought about it, but it was that I wanted friendships. I know what it was. I wanted friendships that really aligned with where I'm heading and maybe not where I've been. And lo and behold, new people entered my life, but then also I had a lot of friction in my friendships. They just were not working out. We could not see eye to eye. I very quickly realized we were in different paths. And then, right, it was happening where I was like, whoa, why do I feel like everything is changing around me on my friendships and relationships? And then I realized, well, the full moon is next week, right? So it's a prepping session. So I want you to also reflect on this prepping session, because again, if vibration is the key to manifestation, you need to watch what you're vibrating on. So for example, I actually feel anytime something leaves my life, I feel really grateful because I know something better is coming in, or I know I'm transitioning. When something leaves my life, I know its story is done no matter what, and that it already gave me exactly what I needed because the universe is already giving me. You have to find so much gratitude. And in that meditation in the morning, I'm also going to make sure that you're not just aligned with chakras, not just energy, but you're aligned with that vibrating sense of gratitude. Because when you start your day off like that, it is so absolutely life-changing. So as always, I want you please to ask questions, share as much as you can with me, because it just means so much. I will give you an example. It's been a week since I've left the jungle and gotten out of the retreat, and it's so amazing because one of the girls, the previous year she got rejected by 3 PhD programs, and she literally landed, was driving home from the airport, and I force everybody, if you've been on a retreat, I really force you to set deep intentions there and also take it home with you. And it's a blessing when I see people really take it and experience it and, change their lives after the retreat. And she got an email that night as she was driving home from the airport from the retreat that she just got accepted into a PhD program. And she was really close to giving up. So if you're close to giving up on something because it's not coming your way, please don't. If you desire it, it's because you already have it. It turned out that she just had leftover limiting beliefs and some leftover anger and resentments that she had to let go of. And once she let go of all those things, a lot is coming into her direction. Here is another beautiful analogy. So this week, my client texted me and she goes, I have a lot of tea to tell you. And I'm like, okay. So she gets on the call and she was like, okay, before we even get into anything, I need to tell you I lost my job, I got fired, and it's the best thing that ever happened to me. And I was like, what? Come again? What happened? And she was like, yeah, pretty much the whole office got fired. I'm one of them. And yeah, it's the best thing that ever happened. And thank you for this program, because I think I manifested that, because I know I deserve a better job, and I know I deserve a boss who treats me better, and I know I deserve all these things. And honestly, this is the best thing that happened, and I'm going to use this week to work on myself, my manifestations, and da-da-da. And I was just sitting there like, oh, who is this girl? Wow, how incredible watching her just completely, right? And she even said, I'm going in this with the gap in the game mentality, and I'm realizing that I've been asking the universe for a lot, and my vibration's been changing, and she's just going on, and I was just astonished because I'm getting to sit there and witness her experience this, right? So, and she even said the old her would have freaked out, went into panic, went into fear about losing her job, but she's seeing this as the universe doing maybe for her what she couldn't do. So naturally, she's not just gonna quit her job, but now she got fired. So now she is, right, being forced into now taking care of herself, now realigning her purpose, and so many things are going to happen for her, and she feels it and she knows it, right? And she's excited. That's what she said. I'm not living in fear, I'm living in pure excitement. So I want you to really align with everything that's happening in your life, like really begin to open eyes, look around, and most importantly, let go of the control. The only person that holds you back from your manifestations is really you. You're the only one that will keep you stuck because you live in your fear. So I want you to change all of your fear into excitement all week long. Happy full moon. I always say new moons are like intense, but there's something different when it comes to a full moon. That energy is wild. And this full moon is in Leo, so it's gonna do a lot with the ego, a lot with the confidence, knowing who you are. And just know that whatever you're gonna feel, you're supposed to feel. Whatever you're experiencing, you're supposed to experience. If you're sad this week, be sad. Don't try and numb it. If you feel called to that breath work, do the breath work again, right? I am just a guide, right? I'm just a vessel to teach you certain things and help you do certain things. But the goal after these 3 months is for life to change in dramatic ways and you to really align yourself and be able to take this forever with you. So what works for you, what works for you? And that's beautiful that you're learning about yourself. So, as always, eat clean, 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 clean. I'll send my list of what I just meal prepped. That way you guys can see how I'm preparing my own week. I actually do it every Monday because it just aligns with my schedule, and I call it Me Monday. So I take care of my meal prep. I set myself up for the week. I make my videos, obviously. And I realign myself in that way. That way I'm set up for the whole week. So food, consciously eat, okay? Is that choice aligning you with your higher self? Get yourself as healthy as possible because you're a vessel for all your manifestations, right? Food. Still continue to think about everything you're consuming. Hair, face, everything. Mental, right? If you didn't finish that book, it seems to align with everyone. And because it aligned with everyone, I'm going to continue to introduce audios that are very similar to that. But I want you to settle on the book reading for a second, just because I think that when it comes to full moon, it's very about you and connection. It's not necessarily like, right? So this book spoke to a lot of you. And this book will, like, it's one of those that comes in front of your face, and when it does, it's like, okay, let me see. And you open it and you know why you read it. I had one of those moments where I saw a book at the beach, and I never go into the beach club library, but I went in and I just knew to pick up this book, and lo and behold, it was absolutely divine and perfect, and I finished it in 2 days, and I now know why I read it. So I'm gonna pause on book and podcast this week because I want you to focus on connecting inward and connecting with universe. And then more importantly, it's okay that some of you don't have 369 yet, right? And maybe that's the universe wanting you to prepare a little bit more. Your only focus this week is your choices and getting closer to your higher self and this full moon. Okay, we talked about moon cycling. So as always, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm so proud of all of you for doing this because so many people will, after 30 days, they will just walk away and they will just give up. Or, right, we're so impatient with manifestation and you guys are staying to it. And because you're staying to it, the universe is checking that off of like, all right, they're really serious about this. They really, really want this. They want to evolve and to grow. And most importantly, I want you to think about the feelings that your manifestations would give you. I'm going to go into that in your morning meditation and your full moon meditation. And so as always, ask questions if you want. You guys know I can go on all day. Have a beautiful week. Happy full moon.